Yeah, I think there's a few reasons that it was really important. One, just as a believer and as a Christ follower that's been called to be generous and reciprocate the generosity that's been shown to me by Jesus and by God the Father Himself. There's that kind of overarching call over everything. But even as it pertains to my role here at In Focus, being someone who is in different ways viewed as a leader, and whether it's on the teams that I lead, one who sets an example, having conversations and getting up every Sunday on a stage where we're asking people to give and to be generous. I knew that regardless of the situation I found myself in, I couldn't ask someone to do and contribute to something that I wasn't willing to do myself. Even if that was going to be a difficult hurdle for me to climb, that was a hurdle I needed to get over, because I knew that just like in anything else, my witness towards someone else as it pertained to generous giving and as it pertained to the One campaign was going to be half-hearted at best if I wasn't able to actually testify from a place of generosity and giving myself. I think I've grown up in a house where giving cheerfully and consistently was modeled. I've grown up in a family where even in my parents' homes growing up, generosity was modeled in different ways and in different seasons of life. So as I moved into kind of creating my own home with my wife, and we were having conversations about what we were going to give to the One campaign. Starting in October of last year, there was a place where we found ourselves where we felt confident about the commitment we were making. But as the year played out and as we moved into this year, through some different circumstances, it definitely came to a moment in time where that commitment that we were trying to keep up and uphold was becoming more and more sacrificial, and was becoming more and more difficult to reason with week after week and month after month. And it got to a place where we were having conversations and it was like, man, this felt like it was really going to be something that was somewhat simple when we first agreed upon this commitment. But now it really is something that is teaching us and showing us things week after week. And through that sacrificial element of the giving, still finding a way to be cheerful, eating a turkey sandwich for lunch because we knew that that was going to make it possible for our commitment to be met that weekend. That really taught me a lot, but then also stretched me in ways that I didn't know was going to happen last October. And experiencing that stretching through the beginning of this year and experiencing God's provision in that was a representation of why sacrificial giving and why cheerful giving and consistent giving is so important in the life of a believer. It wasn't that we were necessarily always taking joy in the fact that there were weeks that were hard or months that were hard, but we could take joy in the fact that we knew that we were being faithful and that God was going to in turn be faithful to us. And we got to experience that in different ways. Like I said, with being able to get a car, that was a huge investment for us. That's been a huge blessing. But then also through other relationships, whether it's with churches in our Every Nation family or with people that I've gotten to meet personally, being able to, and even churches locally, being able to work with them and provide something that they needed, and in return, God providing for my family and me and my wife, and also for In Focus Church through the relationships that have been built and the skills that have been cultivated over years and years of God's faithfulness.